Hello guys! So I am revising my short story collection, my Greek mythology, romantic comedy, whatever you want to call it, and I am moving on to the second phase of revisions, and that is going to the board here that I have and bringing on the note cards. So the first part was reading my manuscript and making notes, either spelling, grammar, saying that, hey, this section is missing something. Oh, I need to expand on that. So I got a good idea of what is wrong with the story. So it's just a quick read. And now it's time to get more in the nitty gritty. So what I'm going to be doing is chapter by chapter, scene by scene, pulling out my color code. And what I'll be doing is on this board, it's divided into 4 squares. So we have Act 1, 2, 3, and 4, or you could do 1, 2, 3, however you want to have it. And what I'm going to be doing is when I read through the first chapter, I will be looking for my character, whatever, if it's my female or my male character, where is their part in their character arc? So where are they on Act 1, 2, 3, and 4 within each of those chapters? There will be some chapters where it's a progression, so nothing kind of new changes. Then I have my plot lines. So pink is for the romance line, and then the blue is for the Greek mythology aspects, which I know I need to beef this bad boy up a little bit. However, I mean, this story is really a romantic comedy with, that touch of supernatural, fantasy element. And then I do have orange, which this is going to be, I think, too big. I think I'm going to have to make them into little smaller pieces, which I don't think. I do kind of have it in this greenish color, but that's going to be too confusing. But my orange is like either if there's an antagonistic event or a conflict, that is what orange is. So with that, what I want to do is make sure that there is orange in every single chapter, every single scene. And if there isn't, I need to expand on that. So that is what I'll be doing. So it's time to read and make the note cards for this story. Good morning. So I just applied 2 face masks. So I have this Mario Pedesco drying mask on my nose area, and then I had a spot right here of an active pimple, so I put it on that. And then the rest, so my forehead and cheeks and chin, is the Tony Moly I'm Honey Deep Moisture Rescue Mask. So this is like a honey. It's very goopy. So I have that going on, and I am in the kitchen making breakfast. So let's go check it out. So I made sourdough banana bread yesterday. So that's what's in the loaf, and added chocolate chips to it, and this is what it looked like. So it's definitely a different color than like your typical, I feel like, banana bread. But that could just be also because of all the chocolate chips, so it's very chocolatey. I like it. The kitchen is never a good room to film when these lights are on because you always see the little so maybe we'll face that way. But it is getting close to 5:30, so it's 5:23. I'm gonna make a iced protein coffee this morning because I'm trying to increase my protein, right? So in my coffee maker, I just did the 4 ounces, the concentrated, because it's able to do that. So I have just a little bit in here, and I don't know if I want to do my vanilla protein or if I'm going to do, that's really bad. There. That works, kind of. Or if I want to do peanut butter. So I think I'm going to go with, I think I will do vanilla and add in my my caramel butterscotch flavoring. It's not gonna be, you know, a caramel frappuccino, but we're going to try to do that. So let me gather all the ingredients and then whip that thing up. So I am sitting on the couch. It's almost 6 a.m. and I'm just looking at some, I guess, inspiration, if you will, on best way to tackle revising. I hate revising, editing, all of that. Never liked it. Hence why I don't do that. I just do, I guess, more the creative, upfront writing. But of course, I need to do a few edit rounds before I send it off to an editor. So I'm going to watch some YouTube videos to kind of see how others tackle. And I think I have a grasp of how I want to approach this. Because there is, I would say, there is some benefit for writing the stories all at once, because now I'm going back to the first one and I read the first 3 chapters and I realized, oh, I changed Dion's last name. So already, because I wrote a whole story about him, his last name was Thomas, but in this first draft I put that it was Mathis. So I'm like, that's kind of inspiring, that I already kind of have an idea of how the character should be based on their own story. So when they do little cameos, I'll have to make sure I incorporate their character personality correctly. So I think I'm going to go, right, I have my color code, which I didn't really use in the drafting part, and I think that's okay, because I think now is when my colors, right, like orange being conflict, blue being like the fantasy Greek mythology element, pink being the love plot, the romance, and then green for the male character and purple for the female. And so I think now those colors take a play, and I just don't know what I need to do on paper / note cards versus what I need to do in my Scrivener doc, because very right, I like the tactile sensation, and so I'm thinking I need to do the first round all on paper and then I can move into the digital, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm curious to see what other people do, so that's when I watch some YouTube videos to get inspired. So it is Monday morning, and I did not get my rough draft revised. That was the plan for the weekend, right? I did that little video, be like, oh, I'm looking at how people are doing their editing and stuff like that. So I got a game plan of how I kind of want to proceed. But I only read the first 4 chapters. So there's only like 12, so it's not that big of a deal. And right, it's 10,000 words. So that really should take me one day, right? About 2 hours of just reading it. But of course, I'm circling things that are wrong and all of that. And I didn't do it. And I feel really guilty. And it's putting a lot more pressure for this coming week to get it done. And on top of that, that's book 1. Book 2, I'm starting the first read through. So I got a lot to do. I have about 30 minutes before I'm supposed to take Tux out. And it's raining. I'm hoping in those 30 minutes it will stop raining because he hates the rain to go out to go to the bathroom. So yeah, so I did a plan with me for this. Super cute. I love the color scheme and everything. And I'm looking at it. Oops, I just ripped that out. And with that, it's a lot of, I'll fix that later. It's a lot to do. And every day I'm kind of doing a theme day. So Monday is newsletter. So I'm going to write a post for my Courtney's Crumbs and Clues. I think I'm going to do it in the like cooking recipe section. I forgot what that one was called. I have all these little cute names for them. About my English muffins. So that'll be kind of fun. And then I'm going to start with that is in the Inkwell Insights, which is going to be like a continuation of this, I feel like, YouTube channel. So like a written document, so like a blog post, right? About my revising plan. So yeah, it is what it is. And I just feel like, ugh. And I want all of these. I have what? 4 short stories right now. And I need to get to 5 because then I'll do a box set for them. They need to be ready to go by January. And the first one is going to be a reader magnet. And I really want that one to be out so people could read it before book 1 comes out in January. So let's do this. Time to revise. I know my hair is a little crazy, guys, but it's 8 o'clock and I am done. So I finished reading the first read through of my new short story, and I have it all kind of written up in pink ink to go over, right, the plot holes, all that stuff. I definitely need transitions. And I noticed that in this one, I didn't go every other for male-female point of view. There were some that went, Eva is the main protagonist, and so it was like Eva, and then it was like a Sam in there, and then Eva. So I don't know how it's going to kind of mold, but I'm glad I got the first run through done because the rest of this week is going back over the revisions and start working on it. And that is where we come to the second part of this. So first, you do a quick run through of the story to ground yourself of what is already happening. And now the second part is to dive deeper, and I am going to use my board here and my colored note cards to map out where things are for all the different scenes and then start cleaning up this story. So I'm hoping to get it all down this week. That is the plan. We will see how that goes, because I also need to start doing my first read through of the second book. And the second book I wrote, was that the third or fourth story I wrote in this series? So I think I had better flow, if you will, because, right, this is my first of this new genre. So I think that's why it is like a little bit piecey. I think the next one, I think, is going to be a lot smoother for reading through it. So excited for that. And moving on to the second portion of how I revise, and that is to the board. Hello, everyone. So we are still revising, and I am making progress, but revising is really time consuming. And with that, so I made my changes on the paper, but now I have to go and make these changes on the computer. So I'm trying not to do double the work. So that is why I was going to use my note cards, write out, I talked about following Susan's Denard's kind of like method, where she'll go into the note cards and then place everything to make sure that there's like the conflict with the plot. But I'm like, what's really the point of all of that? And so it didn't make sense to do these for what I have written. There are plot holes. There are not enough conflict. So I already know all this stuff. So what I'm deciding to do is, I have my board, my 4 quadrants. And because this is a short story, things are a little, I'd say, different. And what I'm doing is, in Scrivener, I do have, I'm using the note cards, and I'm just kind of writing what the scene is kind of about. And actually, a lot of my scenes are now, because I'm trying to put it in like chapter format, and a lot of the scenes are now like being combined, that they're in separate chapters. Now they're being combined in single chapters. So a chapter actually now is having Eva and Sam's perspective, when I kind of want them by chapter, but now they're being put together because it just flowed a lot better. And there's like obviously sections that I'm like, yikes, this totally needs to be reworked or just cut out, because there is no point of it. And that is where my second thing comes into play. And so I'm almost done. I gotta type all this up more. I would say like we're in spelling or missing quotes, adding paragraphs. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm not doing the big like rewrites, I guess you could call it. So what I'm gonna do is, once I have that, then I am going to reread it and then play with the cards. And I'm going to be doing it by chapter. So, if say from Sam's perspective, there is no conflict in that chapter, but in Eva's, there is. I think I'm going to call it good. I know you're supposed to do it for every scene, but since this is so fast-paced, I can't fit everything into a scene. Some scenes are only like 200 words, right? So versus I'm trying to get the chapter to be at least, in the 1,000 range, maybe 700. And so I think that's how I'm going to be doing it. So that is that. I'm off to make progress on making all these little changes. It's coming together. So, right, this is all about revisions and how I'm kind of tackling my short stories. And it is taking a lot longer than what I thought. But I think that's right. As I mentioned earlier, that this was my first one. So there's that. And fun thing, right? I have my wall over here that you can see sometimes in my videos of my book covers. And guess what? I finally printed off. I finally printed off Four Leaf Crime Scene. So I'm excited to finally put that up. And I gotta put, my first book I ever published, Sticker Sheet Murder, on there. And crazy enough is I can't find the second one, Planners to Plunder. And I don't know where that file is. I looked on this computer and then I looked on my laptop and I don't know. So I might not be able to make a little printout, which is so sad. I am, however, thinking of getting new book covers for these. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if this fits your cozy mystery genre. If you saw it, do you think cozy mystery? And if not, what would you like to see this to be, right? So this is kind of like this style of my my seasonal sweet. So right, it's candy shop kind of related. And I think these are super cute because it's all seasonal. But I'm thinking of redoing these, the first and second, and then once I get the third, right, then I'm gonna think I could do all three to be all the same. Which this looks identical to the second one, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm doing that on the side, and guys, I got the first cover for my Greek mythology that I've been talking about, which I'm like, this is my cozy channel. What am I doing? But I don't want to start a new channel or anything. But do you guys want to see a sneak peek? It's super cute. Ready for this? You ready for this? Are you ready? I think it's super cute. So the first book, which is the one I am editing, is called Bullseye for Love. So arrows. So this is in the daughter of Eros, aka for Roman mythology, Cupid. So that's why it's bullseye, right? Because we're doing the arrow. And I was like, that's super cute. But I love how it turned out. So, now you know a new pen name. Which I still have to do, getting the website, all of that stuff. The admin stuff I have not done. And so, I have a little bit of time, right? Because if I'm wanting to launch in January, but time is ticking. But that's a little sneak peek. Last night, I finished the first read through of the first story, Bullseye for Love. And with that, it's on to the next step while I'm doing the first read through of the second story in my Greek romance. And I'm trying to think of what's the best way because I know I need to do like fill in a lot of like the plot holes and get the characters all going and stuff like that. So I think that is where I'm going to use my board and or I might just do it on the computer. I haven't quite decided. Since it's so short, I think doing it on the board would be fine. It's not like it's going to be that many note cards. But I need to go and start making all those note cards for it. So that's going to be kind of fun. So I'll take you on that journey as I get through that. But there's so much I need to do. It's just not enough time when you're working full time. You only really have what, like 4 hours? And I think for September, I'm going to put myself in a challenge of not, I'd say, watching YouTube or the TV unless it is on the weekend. And that means when I'm waking up, when I'm eating breakfast, I normally watch YouTube or something. Nope, I won't be able to. So that means I'm going to have to either just sit there and just eat and just focus on that, or I could be working on one of my tasks, which would be reading craft books and marketing books, or just working on edits.